Hello and welcome back to the channel. This one is Game Week 4 captaincy model. For those that don't know, I have developed a model this season to help you decide who to captain each game week. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at how the model got on last week and look at the results from that. And then we're going to look at the numbers for game week 4. So let's get into it. Okay, so I've got last week's numbers on screen. I've got the X minutes that I used. I've got the projections points wise, and then I've got the actual points as well. So the top 5 obviously did brilliantly. Obviously Haaland was top by quite some distance to Saka, and he obviously scored a hat-trick, managed 17 points. Then Saka and Palmer in second and third. A lot of people thought that Palmer was up there with Haaland. The model didn't agree. In hindsight, that worked out pretty well. So glad that kind of Haaland was top. 4th and 5th, Salah and Mbeumo, obviously very good. All the top 5, 6, the top 7, in fact, all got 90 minutes. And so did Isak. So the top 8 all got 90 minutes. So I've been up in De Bruyne's minutes each week a little bit because he's just been playing 90 minutes each week since the start of the season. Although I think he came off just before the end against West Ham, actually, maybe like 88 minutes or something. But De Bruyne's minutes will get bumped again, as you'll see when we look at the game week 4 numbers. But yeah, the rest, kind of X minutes wise, all pretty good. I could bump up Saka a little bit now that he's played 90. Again, the same with Palmer and Mbeumo. Again, I could up these minutes a little bit to be on a par with Son and Haaland. But I'm still a tiny bit cautious. It's not going to matter too much. It's only a difference of 1 or 2 minutes here and there. But one that was interesting was Odegaard came off around the 75th minute mark, I think it was. So maybe his minutes aren't quite up there with kind of the 88-90 mark. Although that could have been a one-off, to be honest. It could have been to do with the sending off to Declan Rice as well. Who knows? But yeah, another good week for the captaincy model. So in game week 1, just as a recap, Salah was top. He obviously got 14 points. In game week 2, Haaland was top, got 17 points. In game week 3, Haaland was top, got 17 points. So all in all, a pretty good return. Obviously, you can see down there in number 10, we have Phil Foden. Now, I had him at 75 minutes. That's the reason he's in there. He didn't play, so got 0 points. He's a difficult one to predict minutes-wise because when I'm looking at these numbers, it's tough to know whether he's going to be fit or not. I've dropped his minutes for the game week 4 numbers, as you'll see when we look into it, but I don't think he was I don't think we knew that he definitely wasn't going to be available at the time, so that's why I had 75 minutes for him. But all in all, pretty good. So let's look at the game week 4 numbers. Okay, so I've got the game week 4 numbers on screen now. So I've got the expected minutes that I've used for each player, I've got the fixture, and then I've got the projected points for each player. As you can see, Haaland is top again this week. Salah is not too far behind, really. Obviously, I've used 88 expected minutes for Haaland and 86 for Salah. Even if you bumped up Salah to 88 as well, he still is second behind Haaland. So those couple of minutes don't make too much difference. Both got good fixtures. Both got home fixtures. Haaland with Brentford, Salah with Forest. Arguably, Brentford is probably the better fixture just based on the team's defences, although both fantastic home fixtures. Eze is quite far behind in third with Leicester at home. Obviously, fantastic fixture. About as good as it gets, probably. He's also got 86 expected minutes I've put in there. He's played 90 each week, so that's probably not far off being correct. De Bruyne is an interesting one. As I mentioned, I have upped his minutes a bit from 77 to 80. The only reason I haven't gone up there with Salah and Haaland is that there is a bit more jeopardy this week, given that there's Champions League fixtures between game week 4 and 5. So I didn't want to just bump him up straight to 86, 88 minutes because of that. So, if I were to put him up there on the 86, 88 minute mark, he would be close to third with Eze. So just bear that in mind. Palmer is fifth. He has an away fixture this week, and that is potentially why he's not up there with Eze and De Bruyne, although he's not far behind. I've still got him at 85 minutes. I don't think that needs changing too much. Again, he has been withdrawn from the England squad. Not too sure why, but until we know more, I don't think I can put his minutes very far down. I wanted to kind of show it based on him being fit and available. So that's why I've left it at 85. They again have European fixtures between game week 4 and 5. So I don't want to put him up to like 89, 90 for that reason. Jota is in 6th. Now, I've got his expected minutes at 72 this week. He has been coming off kind of in the 70s, somewhere around there each week. So I think that's probably about right. Again, Liverpool do have a Champions League fixture between game week 4 and 5. So there is some jeopardy around his minutes. So I think 72 is about right. If you think I do have that wrong, then let me know in the comments. But I'm kind of happy with that. Trent is in 7th. His expected minutes may actually be a little bit high at 80. But I've put it there. I think he has come off a little bit early in that in a few games. But again, I suppose we don't know what we'll see from Arne Slot and his rotation around Champions League fixtures. So we don't have too much information on that at the moment. So I've left it at 80 for now anyway. In 8th is João Pedro. He obviously has an unbelievable fixture with Ipswich at home. He's played closer to 90 minutes most weeks, but I've got his minutes at 81 just because we have seen that he's been called up late to the Brazil squad. Now, Brazil play on Wednesday morning at 1:30 a.m. UK time in Paraguay. And the game week 4 fixture for Brighton is on Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. UK time. It's quite a long flight from Paraguay back to England. I think it's 15, 16 hours. So it depends on how many minutes he plays in that game for Brazil. But his minutes, again, may be a little bit high this week, given that they do have other players that could play in that spot, like Ruta, who's just signed for Brighton. So his expected minutes could be a difficult one this week, but he's obviously still a great option with Ipswich at home. Saka is in 9th. I've got his expected minutes at 84. They could be a tiny bit higher maybe, but a couple of minutes isn't going to make too much difference. He's obviously got Tottenham away, which on paper, the North London derby might be a bad fixture, but the last couple of times he's played in that fixture, he's returned and he's got points, so I don't mind it. Tottenham looked pretty poor defensively against Newcastle, I thought, so I don't hate that fixture either. Bruno Fernandes is 10th on 86 minutes. Again, he could be a little bit higher, but he did come off early the other week, so I've left it there for now. This fixture could be perfect for Bruno Fernandes. We know how Bruno Fernandes loves pressing high, almost too much at times when the other team isn't doing it. The rest of the team, isn't doing it with him. Southampton away could be the perfect fixture for it. In game week 3, Southampton tried to play out the back a lot against Brentford, and that's actually where I think 2 of Brentford's goals came from. Mistakes from trying to play out from the back. So if we see that again, Bruno Fernandes could be the perfect beneficiary for that kind of style of Southampton trying to play out from the back. Now, Luis Diaz, I think, was 11th. Again, his minutes I had similar to Jota, so he is also up there. Isak is one that I mentioned in last week's video, that Isak always appears pretty low on my captaincy model. Now, I haven't quite worked out why that is yet. I think I'm quite surprised that he wasn't in the top 10 for this week. He was around 12th or 13th, I believe. He wasn't like really low down. But I think that's a great fixture. Newcastle haven't been great in all fairness, but I'd still expect him to be in the top 10. So, like I mentioned, Isak is one that has been typically low on my model compared to others. So I'm going to look into that at some point. I kind of have been looking into it. There's nothing to suggest that kind of the inputs are wrong or anything like that. His expected minutes are always up around the same as Salah, Haaland, kind of high 80s. So it's not quite that. But yeah, he's not in the top 10 anyway. So this is the top 10 for this week. If you liked this video, then do subscribe. If you thought I've got anything wrong on here, X minutes wise, then do let me know. But that is all for this one. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.